And welcome everybody. We are live. Welcome to Afterburn Soccer. I'm your host here, Nathan Hill. You can follow me at Nathan J Hill on X on Twitter. And with me once again is our buddy Jose. Still, at some point this off season, we're gonna figure out camera stuff. Where's I
Yes.
see your
How's it
image?
going?
There it is. All right, go. At least got that up. Well, we welcome Jose. You can follow him at El Chico Carmona as we break down another weekend of action with both FC Dallas and North Texas. And it was like divergent paths here. Both you know games that the teams wanted to get a result out of, and FC Dallas ends up losing 3-1 to incoming visiting Oscar Pareja and Orlando, who just really put the game out of sight quite easily against FC Dallas, who just looked miserable on the night. And then meanwhile, North Texas goes up. They rotate a lot, but they find a late draw, a late equalizer, and win the PK shootout and have secured the number one seed in MLS Next Pro, the
That's awesome.
entire MLS Next Pro. So
That's awesome.
good for them. So we'll talk about both. We got some clips from both teams just to discuss. This is one of those ones where I'm not sure we want to show highlights because Orlando really just yeah.
Yeah, no, they were set up perfectly. They have the kind of style that has given FC Dallas nightmares all year long, all season long, and not just this year, in previous years. And a team that's gonna sit back, defend, and then hit you hard on the counter, quickly on the counter, and mind you, also some good set pieces there too. Not, got to give them credit for that, which has been an Achilles heel for this team. So it is what it is, man. Just hard to be upset that Oscar is, the guy that beat us.
It is because we've seen him do that before. We've seen what he can bring to a team. One of the things I did ask, I didn't pull up the clip, but I asked Peter Luxon about it, which is kind of what he learned, because of course Peter does have a relationship with Oscar, and that added a little bit of layer of intrigue to the match, and yet, I think what Peter recognized right away is it does help when you have more time with the team. You have more time with the team to set them up in the way that you want to see how they play. You have a vision for them, and to his credit, Peter Luxon really hasn't had that opportunity. He hasn't had much time. He came on midway through the season, and he's gotten some results out of FC Dallas. But this was a must-win game, and it wasn't just about Peter. It wasn't just about the head coach. It was also about the players just looking a little all over the place on the evening and not really finding a way to
It
make
looked like a
Orlando
bunch of
hurt.
players that haven't played together for most of the season, you know, and
Yeah.
that's basically it. It's one team was on the same page and the other one was not, and sadly for us, it was FCD.
Yeah, a tough
Can,
home loss, a
can I can
sellout
I
match.
can I say
Hmm.
something real quick though?
Sure.
I was watching the FCD match uh, simultaneously as I was watching the Colorado Minnesota match, and so I got split screen on my G8, But yes. Anyway, I was watching the Colorado Minnesota game on the split screen, and you want to talk about pain? The goals, the first two goals against both teams happened minutes apart. So in the 16th minute, Colorado goes down 1-0, and a little over a minute later, FC Dallas goes down 1-0. Then Colorado goes down 2-0 in the 47th minute, and a couple of minutes later, FC Dallas goes down 2-0. So, so I was watching the season just basically, collapse before my eyes. And also, one last thing, Marson has been uh, yelling in my ear that we conspired to not have a podcast after the Colorado loss.
No,
Just throwing it out there for you.
no. Well, we did not. I don't remember what happened, but I think that's life. Anyway,
Yeah, it is
I think I
life.
was on the road. Yeah, I was on the road, but yeah, but
Yeah,
it was not pretty, and
I think
oh,
you were in DC. In DC, actually.
I think I was. Yeah, yeah. That was so it was just difficult to do. Well, well, let's be clear before we get completely into the sadness of it all. Though, um, yeah, though it's remote. There, FC Dallas has not been officially eliminated. Austin FC has not officially been eliminated either. I mean, the scenarios for both teams to make it, while FC Dallas has a little bit, maybe a percent more chance or something like that. They're remote. That would mean that one of Minnesota and Portland would have to lose out, and Dallas or Austin
they,
would have to win. You know,
they'd have to collapse. So, I mean, it's pretty much. I'm one of the most optimistic FCD fans you'll ever run across, and I'm telling you right now that there's no more optimism left. This team has played. I mean, it's dropped points at home. That's the bottom line. Is it has dropped crucial points at home, and the confidence that they'll be able to, win at Portland, win at San Jose, and win at Colorado. I mean, not Colorado. Win against at home against Sporting.
right?
That's that's just asking too much. In all honesty, I can see them beating San Jose, and I can see them eking out a win against Sporting, but at Portland, that's got draw written all over it at best. So
Well, and really with Portland, so Portland will play, will welcome Austin this weekend, and with the way Austin's been playing now, since they still have a shot, maybe they'll try to get up for that match and do the unthinkable. But with the way they've been playing, I don't
but
think
honestly, we need Austin to beat Portland
right.
and Dallas to beat San Jose to set up basically a must win match against Portland, where basically you beat Portland and you're giving yourself a shot in the last week of the
Right.
season. But that's still that's still assuming that FC Dallas will actually go on the road where they have been dreadful for most of the season and beat a dreadful San Jose team.
Well, and it's just that Austin has to show up, at Portland, which I just don't know that they have it in
Yeah,
them. It would be a huge
and
result.
I'm not cheering for those guys, so
Yeah. So
I'm just assuming they're going to lose and call it.
so essentially, while yeah, there is a chance, it's remote, and even a draw, even if Portland has a draw against Austin, it's over. It's over.
Yes, pretty much the margins is it's razor thin. And honestly, it would be incredible if this team somehow managed to win 3 games in a row and a team like Portland collapses or Minnesota, which I can see Minnesota not collapsing. It has to be Portland.
Hmm.
Minnesota is simply on a tear. I can't see them losing 3 games to close out the season. Portland, on the other hand, I think I've seen Port. I think Portland is right there with at the same level as FC Dallas and Austin. So I think of the two, they're the most likely to come close to that. I'm not sure they'll lose all 3 games, but one can always dream.
Well, we'll see about if we cheer for Austin. I don't know. Maybe yeah, maybe as part of our punishment, we'll follow Colorado's postseason hopes here. Well, let's go ahead and jump over to a clip here. Here's Peter Luxon, interim head coach of FC Dallas, after the match, and you can just see from his tone, his body language, that he was not happy.
It was about the first half that we played tonight. Um, like I was tender, like we play like with fear. That's the first message. So that's the first message there. That fear, like not playing our game. Um, I say we because he's not just a player. He's we. Even with the ball, like missing some very easy passes, like something that we are not using to do. And to be honest, the first half today was the worst first half since we took over, the worst one. The second half, we can see more courage, more brave, playing forward. When in the first half, it was just like playing backwards with no intention to play and to try to hurt them. So this is my first message with our group, and then is hey, we're professionals, so we have 3 games to play. In those 3 games, we're gonna go to play. We're gonna go to win. I know that it's easy for me to say that, but this is what we're gonna do. And now all the players they need to be ready for that. All the players need to understand that this is our duty. So nobody's going to give up here. Everybody's going to push going forward. We need to improve stuff from the players even who's going to stay even for next year. And now we need to understand what's happened in that first half, because that first half it was on us.
They played with fear. Um, and yeah, 3 more games left. He says it's easy to say, but they're gonna play. They're gonna bring it all in these final 3 games, which is all you can do at this point in the season to see, especially who wants to be there, who wants to stick around, who has a part to play in a coming season with a lot of change and turmoil ahead. So, um, yeah, was that an accurate perception there from Luke Son that the team played with some fear on Saturday?
I mean, they certainly look like it. They seem very indecisive. Like I said, they look like a team that really hasn't played together uh, this entire season, and it hurt to watch. It was a very painful match to watch. There's no other way to say that they simply looked outclassed, outmatched, and they looked like they were aware of it. And I think that's what he's saying is they played kind of in awe of their opponents. Something we haven't really seen them do uh, for the majority of the season. But I mean, that's what it looked like. At home, and that's just like I said, really painful game to watch.
Yeah. Well, so let's return to this question. We've been visiting every podcast now since he's taken over. Well, probably not every, but we've had a few. It's just like, has Peter Luxon shown enough to be the next FC Dallas permanent head coach, to get that contract? I know Matt Doyle from MLSsoccer.com has essentially said that he thinks Peter has done enough. He's gotten more out of this team and this roster than Nico was able to. And yet, there's obviously some work to be done to shape the roster in some different directions. We hoped and wondered for a minute if playoffs were going to be a possibility, and now they're not. So, yeah, I mean, how are you feeling after Saturday? Do you think these 3 games ahead can still show something that might sway fans to be a bit more hopeful?
I don't know, man. I still think he's done enough, but with the way this season has is going, it might actually be better if the team does. I mean, like it looks like they're gonna miss the playoffs, so maybe that's a good thing. Maybe that'll force the Hunts to look in the mirror and say, hey, we've had a playoff level team for the past couple of years, snuck into the playoffs, and that was good enough. But this team, like I said, clear unless they go on a tear and Portland or Minnesota collapses, like I said, the possibilities of that happening are very slim, the slimmest of margins. So I don't know. Maybe missing the playoffs is what this team needs for the Hunts to take the roster building a little more seriously than what we've seen. And I think he's done enough. And I'll tell you why I think he's done enough, because I know everybody knows that FC Dallas is gonna go in house. They're gonna go. It's. There's very few people that are gonna get offered this job, and of most likely candidates. Quill, I think, would be the most likely candidate, but he's been coaching, managing at Division 2 level. He's still his experience is not that much better than Lusan's, and it's gonna be between those two guys. I think you might as well let make Lusan the guy and give Quill some time, some couple more years out, out expanding his resume, and then maybe if Lusan can't do it, then Quill it will be the
Yeah.
guy, and he won't be coming in with only a year or two experience on his belt. He'll be coming in with multiple years experience, which is something we haven't had since Pareja, in all honesty. So I would say I think I okay with Lusan. I think he'll get the job. Um, but I like to see some serious tinkering with the roster next season.
Yeah, I mean, I think the challenge is if you go back, to Pareja, uh, after the Schellas Heineman era ended, and Schellas certainly had his success with the team before, wearing out his welcome. They knew they wanted to get Oscar. He had roots there. He had strong connections. They had to get him from Colorado. It wasn't an easy. You had to give up something for him. Um, and Oscar had a nice long tenure until he was ready to go and try some other opportunities that came up. And then in both cases, with Lucci, though, so I think we'd all agree that Lucci, we wish Lucci had a year with North Texas, a year or two to get some experience and the challenges. But he was always their guy. He was always the guy they had in mind to try to bring in, who they believed could really exhibit the FC Dallas way, be the next step. Nico was interesting. He was an outside hire, but because of FC Dallas' success, getting guys into the United States men's national team, there seemed like a lot of positivity there, sort of creating a system of play that could really help FC Dallas's academy and entire system kind of continue to feed potential talent into a men's national team structure. Here we are, and by the way, Berhalter's out now too, as the men's
Hello.
national team head coach. And Nico, by the way, is still with the United States men's national team, doing some things with them. So good for him. We'll see how that evolves. But yeah, so now the question is, maybe you do go in house. Luxon has been with the team for a while. He knows the culture, and that makes sense. Yeah, Quill's another guy that would know the culture. John Gall is another kind of interesting possibility, but yeah, I don't know how you would. Well, I don't know. I just don't know what they're going to be thinking about and whether they'll interview both. Or yeah, do you roll the dice and look for someone else out there who is on the open market and could bring a different vision, a different idea for this front office? There's questions that
I
they're going to have to ask and think about, especially in light of the players they have and the decisions that they're going to need to make. And knowing
I
FC Dallas, I think Peter Luxon is going to make a lot of sense for them, even
I'm
if they
I'm
do
telling you
get
right now that I've soured on the idea of bringing in someone from outside. Um, unless that person is Oscar Pareja, I'm not really interested. And the problem is this is for everything that Nico did, he kind of severed that um, ladder of bringing up talent and FC Dallas producing their own talent. He got away from that, and it really hurt. I think it hurt both FC Dallas and it hurt North Texas.
mm,
I think it trickled down, and I've seen more from FC Dallas across the ladder, of their development since Lusan, jumped in as an interim than I ever saw under Nico, in all honesty. And I think I'd rather have a team that leans on their academy than one that doesn't. You know, UC North Texas is having a great year, and some of those guys are a couple of years away from being good enough to play for FC Dallas. but I look forward to I look forward to that. And yeah, um, I want them to go back to play the kids. If they're not going to be serious about going out and shelling for a championship level team, then invest it on the academy, and one of these days we'll have the right combination of players like uh, Pepe and Jesus and Paxson all playing for FC Dallas at the same time, and the day that FC Dallas wins MLS Cup, it'll be because of the academy.
Hmm. Well, I'm for that. I'm for that, and yet, I think um, fans will vote with their wallets.
Yep.
Big stadium announcement, upgrades to the stadium, which is only good for FC Dallas, but it is. I think it is going to remain with FC Dallas. In some ways, true for all Major League Soccer teams, except those that are in places that can naturally attract better talent, like a Miami, like Los Angeles, like New York City, maybe a Chicago. Yeah, FC Dallas. I just don't think we were never going to be in the market for Lionel Messi, right?
Yeah, but
That
it you could say that, but really it comes down to the ownership. I mean, who the hell wants to go play in Toronto, Canada? That's not a that's not a marquee destination, but
big
they
city,
get some big players because they're willing to spend, and that's the
sure.
difference. FC Dallas could do that. They could, but we already know that the owners don't want are not the type. And frankly, with the while I'm excited about the stadium and everything that I hear about it sounds great. The one thing that doesn't sound great is the fact that we're only going to have like 11,000 seat capacity. Now, I don't know about you, but my guess says that the Hunts aren't going to go out and bring in a big name player
Hmm.
to play in front of 11,000 people. So I have a feeling that they're going to trim some fat and they're going to lean on the kids next year as you see this team basically transition with. I don't think they go out and spend a lot of money unless A, they sell somebody, or B, the stadium is complete and they want to, fill it up. So I think we're going to be seeing some lean times as far as what they spend on the roster. Unless they sell somebody, unless they sell Jesus or someone like that, that's the only money they're going to spend.
Well, I think, yeah. I mean, I don't disagree with you. I just think FC Dallas is always going to be the kind of team, the front office that's going to try to strike that balance, and yeah, with that mix of homegrowns, the mix of guys through the draft, as well as some bargain kind of deals, looking for those interesting talents like a Patrickson Delgado who has upside, maybe a show Kafumana, who's has may turn out to be a bit of a gem. But then yeah, this to spend and get a guy like Musa, which is good, and a Velasco, which you spend some money on, and I think they Muso's definitely been one of the best signings that FC Dallas has made in recent years in the striker position, and they want to build
Yes.
around him. Of course, the fear is, but even with a season like this, if he had a better squad, a healthier squad around him for most of the season, he would have scored more goals. He might have been in the
Yeah.
hunt
I mean,
for the
that
golden
agreed.
boot.
Agreed.
Yeah,
And let's not forget that players tend to struggle their first season in MLS. So I mean, if this is him struggling, I can't wait for next season.
right.
You know?
So yeah, I'm fearful that some team this winter is going to come in, and some European team that's trying to rebuild and push out of the drop zone or whatever is going to be like, hey, we can go get this Musa guy at a pretty decent price. So who knows? Who knows what's going to happen? But there are definitely pieces to build around. But yes, it's always going to be about getting this right balance of sort of developing the right talent and putting the pieces with the talent that they'll spend more on. Um, and and we'll see. So I think they're looking for a coach that can continue to do that. And Luke Son and John Gall and Eric Quill, these are guys that do have that that background and awareness of that culture and the familiarity with the talent here. Well, let's jump to North Texas. I don't know how much there else is to talk about FC Dallas. Paul Ariola did score that penalty kick. Good for him. There's almost a second goal for Logan Farrington, who we can just.
I do want to say one more thing about FC Dallas, just an observation, and maybe it's because of the end of the season, but one of the issues with FC Dallas, uh, yes, they went out and they spent money on Musa and Velasco and Jesus, but let's face it, the DPS that FC Dallas is signing are players that they intend to sell, that they want to sell, that are not at their peak. So Velasco's peak probably won't be in FC Dallas. Jesus' peak may not even have peaked yet. He's pretty young. Probably won't be in FC Dallas. Musa, same thing. So the difference is you brought in DPS, you spent big money, but you're investing in the fact that they'll uh, evolve into superstars. They're not going out and getting superstars. They're getting out future superstars, and that's simply the way this team is going to continue to be. You
Hmm.
know, they're not going to go out and get someone to save the team. They're going to bring in a if they sell Velasco, they're going to replace him with another young player that they can sell in the future. So yeah, I mean, if you're going to go that way, like I said, lean on the academy, man. I want to see, those kids will eventually carry to glory.
And speaking of the academy, North Texas, again, let's just clinches the number one seat in all of MLS Next Pro. There's no supporter shield in Next Pro. The joke was, but next MLS Next Pro has no supporters other than
It's true.
family members and folks who get the cheap tickets. But hey, FC Dallas fans, right now, yeah, you got another home game to look forward to. But you also have another home game this coming weekend to go watch North Texas and begin supporting them as they will play every playoff game, hopefully multiple playoff games at home, and can use your support. And this team is so much fun to watch. And now against Sporting Kansas City too, the team did not look great in the first half through a stretch of the game, and that's because interim head coach Michelle started a rotated squad with a lot of young guys, including some guys earning some minutes who didn't have a lot of minutes. And so it didn't look pretty for a while until some substitutions were made and the team started to fight back. And then Isaiah Kakush, a guy who signed earlier this season with FC Dallas, with North Texas from the Barcelona Academy in Arizona, making his debut as a 17-year-old, just took a shot from the top of the box and it went through the keeper's hands and legs and it equalized. And what a moment for the kid! In fact, let's hear he is talking about that goal. Congrats on that first goal, and what a clutch goal that was too for the team. I mean, you coming into this game, your team needed a goal. You delivered. Walk us through what you saw in that moment that led up to the shot.
I just saw Pedro coming across the field, and I just saw the ball coming across. I saw an open shot. Nobody was stepping to me, so I said, why not shoot? And so I shot it, and thankfully it went in.
Quite a youngster. Sometimes soccer is just that. Hey, why not? And it goes in. So credit to and congratulations to Kakush. Congratulations to the team for earning that number one seed. They have a home game against Minnesota, and it was interesting because Michelle was pretty confident after the game that that they had intentionally rotated guys, left some guys back. I think give them some rest before postseason, which makes a lot of sense. So to get a result, even when you rotate some guys and maybe aren't playing your best, uh, credit credit to this whole squad. Credit to their depth, to their youth, to trusting kids to play, and they went out and won the shootout quite easily. Um, so it's just I'm just enjoying this team and the stories that are there. In fact, later this week, I think on Wednesday morning, I'm going to post an article of an interview with Turner Humphrey, who was drafted by FC Dallas in the MLS Super Draft earlier this year, but was signed with North Texas and has earned a lot of minutes. A really interesting prospect. Although he's already 23 years old, that has some interesting background. And then uh, uh, an interview with Michael Colodi, star goalkeeper for North Texas, will be coming out a little bit later this week as well, and I'll post audio and stuff from those interviews as well. So look forward to kind of hearing some parts of the stories of some of those young guys. But gosh, here's the blueprint, right,
Yeah,
Jose?
I mean, you
Here's the
love the
blueprint.
depth. You love the depth that North Texas has. I mean, it's a testament to the depth that they have, and they just signed, of course. You mentioned the kid from out of the Barca Academy
Mm-hmm.
in Arizona, and in him scoring. But they also just signed the Polish kid uh, that they got from the Chicago Fire. He just signed a contract with North Texas, and speculation I've heard from Bus Carrick, of course, is that he probably signed a hybrid deal. So then I wouldn't be surprised if the Arizona kid also has been signed to a hybrid deal. These are some really high end players that were brought in from outside of the FCD Academy, and frankly, I like it. I mean, there's nothing wrong with going out if the rules change and you can supplement your academy with outside talent. Why not do it? I like the fact that FC Dallas went out, brought these kids from outside the FCD Academy, and I like to see them continue that. You know,
Mm-hmm.
I'm very excited about that, and I'm very excited at the way North Texas has ridden the academy this year. That's something that I missed the past couple of years while Nico was in charge, and glad to see it return.
Yeah, and I mean, I like it too. I like them being aggressive and finding the players that they need. And I know that this Kakush kid from Arizona, he spent most of his time this season playing with academy, playing lower levels. But they signed him when he was 16, so and he's young. He needs time to mature. He needs experience, and he provides a competitive body there. And you give him a chance, when he can. And
Yeah, yeah, he's one of these. Like I was talking about him and the Polish kid. This is this new wave paid academy players. Is basically what they are. You know, and like I said, I like it. Yeah, I'm not saying that they were brought in and just plugged into North Texas. They're paid academy players. They both played the bulk of their minutes in the academy, and I'm all for it. Like I said, I like what I see. There's a team. There's some teams that can take advantage of that, and we all know that FC Dallas is such a team. I'm very happy to see them. Um, like I said, playing the kids, even if they've only been our kids for a year.
mhm. Well, the thing about Turner Humphrey too, I mean, I just don't know how he's going to rate, but they have an option for next season, so at the very least, he might be back for next season with North Texas. But he's a 6'4" defender. He actually has experience playing as a six. You'll and so I think he has opportunity to be a flexible kind of player that FC Dallas likes at that level, a guy that they can develop in different ways, and didn't come from a high skilled background. He just played local soccer, club soccer, not necessarily academy soccer, and so uh, a lot of learning curve for him, and yet he's been able to hold his own. And what's fascinating about talking to Colodi and talking about Turner's these guys, how much praise they have for players like Pedrinho, the Brazilian attacker who has had a great season, and I think is a prime prospect for us to think about for FC Dallas another year or two perhaps, um, as well as guys like Nico Gordon and Mads Westergren who have shown some real poise and some leadership on the back line, as well as Nolan Norris, we already know about, and who's gotten some senior minutes this year. But so it's interesting mix of players for us to watch and see how they develop, and to think about how FC Dallas will have options. Have options as they build their roster next season of who to let go and who they might want to bring up, who they might want to loan out for further opportunities. And that's kind of what you want in a roster building scenario.
Yeah, I would kind of hope that I would like to see the starting backline for North Texas be brought back intact next year. I mean, let's face it. If this team goes on to the title, it's going to be behind the best defense in the league. So I mean, let's face it. Most of the talent that the academy is producing are attacking players. Even our fullbacks are attacking players. You know, the center back is not a position of strength, and so I think, hey, I don't have a problem with them giving them an extension. And like I said, I don't have a problem with them bringing back the entire backline. Really, you know, them and Colodi have been excellent, and it gives you, having great defense gives you an opportunity to mix and match your attacks and get your groove on for the end of the season. So yeah, I best of luck for him. I'd be happy to see him and his backline members all return for next season.
All right. Well, good. We'll look forward to those things. I'll have that interview with Michael Colodi, who was just great to talk to, and of course Turner Humphrey, who actually I've had in the pipeline for a few weeks here, and just it's taken me a while for my schedule to settle down. But some good content coming to Afterburn Soccer. So Afterburn.soccer. All right. So I think we're gonna leave it there. I mean, we got soccer action coming up. The trying to because I have slept since then. I think we have this coming Wednesday is Dallas will travel to San Jose and then travel to Portland on Sunday. And so 2 huge road games this week, and it's a chance for the coaching staff perhaps to rotate some guys, to take some risks, because there's really nothing to lose. There's nothing to lose, and a lot will matter about this Wednesday night. If they can win at San Jose, and if Portland or Minnesota lose, hey, the door is still cracked open. The window's cracked open just a little bit until the weekend, and so we'll see.
That's right. That's right.
That's all they can do at this point. Well, we'll leave it there. Thanks, Jose. Hopefully, we'll get your camera worked out. Thanks everybody for listening.
Maybe we'll get it.
We said it every episode. We said it every.
Yeah, maybe we'll get it before